Yeah, Prime Force. This is going to be a very, very weird one. All right, just kick things off. Yeah. Hi, hello. This is. I've been waiting for this for quite some time now. I've been in the training room, the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, trying to understand the complete mystery that is OBS. It's a rabbit hole. It's insane. There's some of the most basic stuff that you would think would be fairly straightforward to do ended up taking like multiple days and also multiple iterations. But yeah, we got there. It's coming together. Even just something like this, you would think is fairly straightforward, but that was a solid, I think, 2 or 3 redos there. At one point, I actually had OBS taking up 10 gigs of RAM. And this is like 24 hours ago too, and I just realized like I had to just tear it all down and redo it. But it was also one of those things where like once it's done correctly, it's so hard to complain. Everything runs so lightweight now. This layout, oh don't worry, this is just the beginning. We have a lot of new toys. Yeah, so GAC. Okay, why is chat out? Of course, now I spent like chat is actually one of the things that I spent the most time on, and then suddenly it's just throwing a fit. Interesting. Literally doing it live. Huh. All right. That's fun. That's fine. Yeah, we had a heck of a lot of news drop, and as well, we have a GAC. This dude has absolutely no Galactic Legends. He has Luke, and he's in Rey's event now. He's earning Rey shards, but he had to lock into GAC without her. So today shouldn't be that bad. You know, I think a defense can still be hard even if Galactic Legends aren't on it, but it does mean we cannot fight Galactic Legends today. Just, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be doable. With all of the news, I actually kind of just want to detour immediately into that. I don't know. Probably just edit this into 2 separate chunks, but everyone was talking about Galactic Legends yesterday, and I didn't really see much Piett Discussion, so feeling some takes. I kind of just want to jump on over and also this is going to be a good way to test tech, some of the setup live. The act of actually streaming is going to be a lot harder. Let's see. Wait, why do I have 2 replays? Wait a minute. Yeah, Saboteur. I'm probably gonna go through Piett first, but I very much had the same feeling that you. That's how is definitely. But oh well. Alright. Gonna at least read through the text first. I don't know. I don't want this to be a kid reading, but at the same time, tackling these without actually addressing it just felt kind of clunky. Let's see. As of the time of starting this stream, SWGH.GG still doesn't have Piett up, which is kind of surprising. I feel like once the update dropped, that was always kind of go time. But yeah, so the way I see this kit, we're kind of dividing it into 2 chunks, right? So we have the lead-in unique as a package, which is basically just what if Vader an incredible tool, or a series of tools. There we go. We're in business. So, counter chance, I don't really read too much into. I should probably just kill the search. But I think even at Gear 8 or Gear 9, all we really need to look at here is find. This is the keyword. This is kind of cute, but I don't really like that. We're really just looking at the potency, the tenacity, the potency, and then it's kind of buried by Emperor's Trap. Feels like OBS. Centers. There we go. Doing it live, but again, get a little bit of practice. This is actually insanely hard to juggle everything at once. So Emperor's Trap, I think that this is actually going to turn Vader's turn order around on its head a little bit. It actually almost might make Vader a little bit clunkier, or at least it gives you a choice. So the way I see it, if we draft a Piett team, and the way a lot of Vader counters work right now, if we put him in like the Bastila slot, you really don't need him to be able to take a hit, right? Especially if you're up against a comp that allows you to do tank thrown. The worst you're looking at here is like Finn AoE. Counter chance plus Gar. Yeah. I'm almost tempted to just kill the chat box. Alright, let me just try to... Like, I tested and retested it. Okay, there we go. It just needed a wake-up call, I guess. Have every single chat message just happened at once, I guess. There we go. Alright, I'm happy. So with Vader, like, obviously all the turn resets act as cooldown reduction, but if you really want, you know, if you're up against a 500k array or something, it feels like CG is essentially offering you a choice, which I think is healthy, actually. Like, having a choice is always good. But if you save the culling toss until the end of this, you're looking at about, I would say, 42%, depending on what lead you draft. If it's EP lead, I think it's 42%. I think if you're without it, you're looking at 36, just because with EP lead, you could run an extension, you could do AoE first, which against most teams isn't going to get punished. Against like a JTR, that's going to be weird. Chatbox font is awful. I went back and forth on this. I'm plenty content to just kill this. I don't know. Again, work in progress. I tested it. Some people said it looked alright. I think Seraph, as always, is just a safe textile to go with. It's just kind of thematic. I wanted it to look like it was written. Is it worth getting the Zeta? Yes. If we're talking about the unique Zeta here, I would say absolutely. Why is it so north? Alright, we're center now. Weird. So I switched to Streamlabs OBS again, which I've had some issues with in the past, but I guess it just saves cloud settings that just keep on overriding changes I make. It's interesting. But yeah, so we have the 42% offense with Vader, 30% offense with the lead, which isn't bad, but you know, that's kind of contesting neutrally with Vader lead anyway. The minus 15 speed is actually a pretty nice point as well if you're up against a non-Malak team. That means that your Vader speed target is actually going to be a lot lower than it would normally have to be. You know, it's essentially plus 15 speed for Vader combined with a 15% watt turn meter. I read that as a pretty nice game, but I don't think Piett lead is always going to be what you're looking for. All told, I think the unique Zeta is an easy take, even if you're not going to gear him. I don't think I'm going to gear him either, but I do think that we could go ahead and run tests with him. Obviously, if you're going his lead, you're gonna want to draft a tank, I think. There is actually still the option, assuming that Piett doesn't have any weird, crazy priority targeting, you could still just try to have Thrawn soak up the damage, but it kind of depends on what the last two people are on that team. And again, you have to gear him up enough that you're not just gonna have a Finn grenade immediately pop him, so we can still mod for that though. Helps the ray counter I'm in is not percent. Savitar, what are you referring to here, sir? Oh no, I said plus 15% speed. It's minus flat 15 speed. But that helps a lot, right? Because plus 50% turn meter on Vader is essentially multiplying the effectiveness of the minus 15 on Piett lead. Yeah, sorry, I'm talking about watt. TM piece in situations where you're not against Malik, combined with Piett Lead's fly reduction. So, just a lot. I see a lot of this as just easing up some of the pain points of the counter, right? We're hitting on pretty much everything except for crit chance, but also, you know what, we have, let's say, I mean, if you really want to just maximize this, you could cut Vader Cross entirely. We have a solid, where? Like, we're plus 30% potency here. We are minus 30% tenacity, which is basically plus potency for Vader, but it just means that you'll, like, Watt will have better assisting consistency as well. It'll help against, like, tenacity, Malik, tenacity, Ray, which I haven't really seen that much. But Ray is just in such a weird spot. Like, 60% there, 40, like 20% with the unique puts you at 80%, and then even if you don't do EP lead, which also gives you potency. Basically, where this is going is Vader essentially isn't just getting 30% offense from lead and 36 to 42% offense from unique. It also frees up the cross slot, which I think is also going to be very, very huge for situations where you don't crit Ray, which I think you still want to ideally aim for 75% crit chance. But to me, it's going to free up characters like Bastila, I think. That might be assuming too much, but I think if your Vader's Relic 7 with good modding, even if you, say, get like 15% resists, I think you're still in a very healthy spot. Especially with all these offense gains now. Yeah, I think that feels very, very... So let's see. I mean, the rest of his kit does feel very much like a... At first, I didn't like it, and then I did, and then I fell back to feeling conflicted about it. So we have... I think the thematics on it are very, very cool. We don't really have any characters like this. Closest thing that we have for the mechanic of inevitable failure, or specifically marking your allies, we only really had that in the form of General Grievous, and he did that passively. We didn't really get control over that. So this is kind of the first time... Like, I'm a big fan of player agency, of giving the players more choices to make, and I think there are, for the most part, some good trade-off in here. I think one thing that's kind of a shame is, hopefully, if we can peek back in one more time. Oh, we got a stats here we can go over to in a second with Flash's OP stat bot here, but unfortunately, some of this gonna just be waiting for swgh.gg, especially because I think with the AoE here, and at least the payoff on inevitable failure, it feels to me like they're trying to build him up as like some feature, which I think would be cool. You know, this 300% offense seems like CG really wants you to build to it, but it also just really depends on the character, right? Because you're not really getting any significant amount of offense until that. Like 50% offense is fine, but you're looking at an insane spike in power between 15 stacks and 20 stacks. And some of these conditions feel a little bit suspect to me, right? It feels a little bit confused. So we have a basic that will call whoever you put the mark on to assist, right? And at first it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. When I first read this, I was getting Zeta Faust vibes, like really, really badly, and I absolutely hate Zeta Faust. We have, you know, 60% counter chance, and then call a random ally, which the biggest difference here is that it's not 60% chance to call a random ally, which was, I mean, Faust is just such an RNG mess. I would pretty much just rather read this ability as this piece is the main, and then just read this as a bonus, right? Because half the time, I mean, if you've used First Order, if you use it with Fox, if you've used it with Kylo, you know, there's like the odds of getting like a Hux basic or an Officer basic are just as high. Wouldn't want another Lando AoE? Yeah. I mean, the vibe that I kind of got, and I guess this is also thematic to the faction technically, is I kind of wanted to think of like Tarkin a little bit, right? Like the whole power fantasy of Tarkin racking up potency, getting a crazy AoE off. He never really hits that. I think I've seen some funny screenshots in like the Ewok events with the Relic 7 Tarkin. Hux basic is fine. Yeah, and for Kylo lead especially, because advantage can result in getting turn meter. But the point is, given the choice, you would want it to be on Kylo, right? So when we look at Empire, we have... Oh, this is going to be a bit zoomed in. Let's just go all the way up. Piett check? Nope. So I do wish that we could just hit tank roll combined with Empire. But right, so like this is the general list that we're working with, and some people have said, and I can kind of agree with this, that they think that Royal Guard is going to be the main selling point just to try to give him an effective response. It really depends on the team you're drafting with. I don't know if CG has in mind like EP lead, Vader, Piett, Royal Guard, and Royal Guard is probably the best target on this list that you're going to work with. Like if you're looking at Shore Trooper, you've got what, not much damage and critical chance down. And then the fact that the conditionality on Piett's kit, or at least I guess with his lead, he wants the inevitable failure ally to crit. Like, so if it's a high relic tank, you're gonna get the boosting crit chance naturally, but that still feels a little bit out of whack. I still want to bump it. Let's. There we go. Center screen. But yeah, right, so we have a little bit of dissonance. I actually do think that there's an argument to be made. It's a high risk, but I mean, you know me by now, I'm all about high risk. Like, I could see an argument that you just want to put this on your carry sometimes. Maybe, like, don't do it, like, during the initial barrage, but certainly once you feel like you're in a position to control, especially because if you have another tank already, then assuming that they're not a priority target, they should just split the damage 50-50. And, you know, if it's a type of character, or if it's a team that can give him some regen support, you are getting some decent value out of extra assist calls on them. That's just, I don't know, the kit feels a little bit... Like, everything in the lead and unique, I got no problem. It's 10 out of 10. Like, for everything, you know, we got the Vader rework. The Vader rework is amazing. Everything except for crit chance in Vader's kit pretty much just gets doubled down on here. It's obviously, PG just pretty much made this, and also, to some degree, the lead with Vader in mind. I think that's pretty transparent, but then... I don't know, right? It's just... And he's got like an Imperial Trooper tag, and I think the basic, you could have some pretty good RNG chains with like Range Trooper, but they front-loaded his kit for Vader so much that I don't know if he really is justified in going with Imp Troopers, right? Because what would you rather do? Would you rather run Piett with Imp Troopers and try to like bring them back to life a little bit in the meta? Or would you rather free up Bastila Fallen to rejoin a meta team, become another counter again? I feel like that's a very easy choice to make. More additive offense is okay. Yeah, it's plenty fine. And again, I think that, like, we're playing with so much offense here in the numbers, combined with freeing up Vader's offense cross. It's huge for him. It's insane for him. But yeah, I just... Like, the AoE Dispel is not a... or it can be evaded, which... I keep on going back and forth on this. At first, like, anytime that I see a AoE Dispel, or just any Dispel that can be evaded, it feels pretty ugly to me. You're looking at chat. Thank you. Everybody hates it. I mean, it's... So text is a very touchy subject, right? It's like Comic Sans. Like, most of the time, text is just, you want it to be readable. I thought it kind of looked thematic, but that's... It's very close to the function over form, or vice versa argument, and so everything is subject to change. This is all just working on fun toys to have. So, yeah, I mean, I'll do one last Piett check just in case before we move on. I think this might be some of the latest SCBGH.GG has been. Piett? Nope. Extremely no. Alright, I mean... Alright, I think that's most of what can be said. If the AoE turns out to be like a pretty good finisher, I just don't think that it's going to be that viable to hit this 20 stack. But it depends on the team, right? Maybe the fantasy is that you just stick it on Vader. So before we continue, we have some illegally obtained goods, even though we don't have SWJH.GG yet. This is Piett's Relic 7 stats. You will notice right off the bat, we are in very close to Watt Tambor territory. Not quite, but I mean, you actually do exceed Watt with the Piett lead. This was pretty critical, I think, if you want to be able to run a type of pre-taunt effect. And I think the Mark is actually going to be one of the stronger tools that we have lately, right? Like, even Watt's pre-taunt piece, you can kind of, if you have a team that can just force out some damage immediately, that tank tech loses its value. But there's only, what, 3 characters in the game, I think, that can actually stop this from happening? Aside from, like, I'm not going to include Taunt Ignore here, but we have Vader, Geos, Spy, and Boba, I think, is the only debuff consume. Like, this is actually going to be a really, really good tool. I was a little bit disappointed at first. I was hoping that we were going to have a very respectable sort of plug-and-play tool. It is limited to Empire, which is kind of a shame. But it even, like, you could do some cute stuff. Like, what if you, where's the boy? This almost isn't a good idea. It really depends. But you know where I'm going with this. Right? Like, that's actually not that bad of a tool to try to ensure. Like, the biggest thing would be knowing how much damage you're going to take incoming. Try to ensure that it hits. Piett? Am I saying it wrong? Wait, hang on. Going to Google Translate. I mean, is it even gonna... Probably gonna think it's a different language. Nope.
Piett.
Fine. Fine, 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 fine. I've lost... Okay. Anyway, yeah. I think most other noteworthy thing I'm seeing here is we have a very competitive tenacity, very much kind of in the vein of Hux. I think that this trend is extremely good. This stat line, for the most part, this isn't always true, but we have the ability to toss on a tenacity cross and 1 tenacity set, and you're in a pretty competitive tenacity range. That drops you at like 155 for not that much commitment. Obviously, that's not an airtight amount of tenacity, but I think that's a really, really good amount to work with. Yeah, I mean, it could become problematic, I guess, if we just start seeing base tenacity values inflating across the board, or it could just add some RG to gameplay. But again, you can mod for potency on characters that need it. It might just, you know, attackers that have debuffing effects but don't really have the mod budget to chuck on much potency, because like part of why Vader could get away with it is because MM buffs were so insane, right? Yeah, Conwolf, I heard you. I believe you. I checked. The robot lady told me how to say it. Yeah, we got there. Is the nuke? It is physical. Pretty solid crit chance. I mean, with Emperor's Trap Emperor's Trap stacking up all the time, that's a crazy tongue twister. If you can hit this, this is actually probably going to be a pretty good finisher. I don't know. It just, a lot of this character just feels so passive to me, and I think that's fine. The leader and the unique is a really, really good. Like, if you're just gonna have a stick stay there and just give people stats, this is everything Vader could ask for except for crit chance. Like, you're fine, but just a lot of this just feels like wait and see. I mean, giving Vader offense up as well, if you can have Piett go before Vader, that's obviously sick as well. It is really, really hard to complain about that. But I don't know. It's a good character. I absolutely hope. I'm just gonna sneak in one last Piett check here. Nope. Still no. I know those devs are super busy. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Yeah. It feels weird, right? You don't really care about your tank basicing that often. Unless it's like a Stormtrooper. Like, a Stormtrooper gets you in an expose. We have Royal Guard being a stun. It's really hard to complain about that. I think it's an 80% stun though, right? So, pretty much the same as Palpatine odds-wise. Can Piett? Wait. This is such a dumb direction. Can he mark himself? He totally can't, right? I'm pretty positive on that. There's the feared other word, so that's definitely a no. 60% crit chance, that's probably not going to be value anyway, but one could dream. I mean, maybe like a full tank Thrawn could be kind of cute if you just try to do something with Gradaddle's command. Try to do something with the counter chance. You're dishing out speed up at first, though. I think that's probably net negative. But yeah, right, I mean, most of what you're looking for here would just be a very beefy stat stick, which Royal Guard can be that, don't get me wrong, he can absolutely be that. Armor, very respectable, just stats in general, all very respectable. But he's not really bringing counter chance. I almost just kind of wish that the stats that Piett had here, I almost just kind of wish that it was all reversed. I wish that the inevitable failure got 60% crit chance, and then when they did something, Piett would assist. It does flare boot, but after the first round of turns. So you're essentially speeding up the entire enemy team for a round, and then getting the ability block and potential stun. I just don't like giving the enemy team speed up when I can avoid it. In situations where you're fighting something dangerous, right? That's kind of all it boils down to. Alright, I think we've said what there is to say about Piett. Okay, I need to apologize for this. Like, formally, actually, this is my fault. The moment that I started dumping gear to get into Kylo's event, the clock had been started. If I hadn't done anything, we would have been safe, is the way I see it. This event got announced the exact day that Kylo's ultimate finished. It was like, oh yeah, congratulations, that's cool. By the way, it'd be a real shame. It'd be a real shame right now if something were to happen. I will say, so, man, things are moving very quickly. At first I saw this and I was like, okay. So, the initial GL we had 4 sets of Rex. CG said 2 weeks in between Rex, so that points at like 7 to 8 week wait, I think. You know, we would have 2 per times 3 that puts you at 6, and then probably another week or 2 wait for the event to actually start. And then we got the announcement today where it's in 3 groups. So now the clock has been effectively pushed forward 2 weeks, which, lovely. I mean, worst case scenario, right? I think this actually might line up with week 3 of GAC. So, especially if this event hits after week 3 lock, you're only really looking at 1 week of Grand Arena before the season ends. Plus all the time it takes to farm tickets, absolutely. They might actually just hit in the GAC offseason, which is actually probably the best possible outcome. That might be disappointing for Wales. But we have a self-requirement list so far. If you've actually looked at this, the SWGH.GG has the requirements up. And despite being, so full context, let's get a Grand Arena. I am in, I feel like, pretty alright shape for Luke so far. Obviously I don't have Mothma or 3PO and Chewie, but I felt like, this looks like pretty alright, and then, I have 7-star EP for doing Kylo, and Vader, just a damn good character. I feel like a lot of people have Gear 13 Vader. You hit the gear needed, there is some insane sticker shock going on with the Luke side right now. I'm pretty sure, the moment that Piett gear gets added into this list, which... Piett check? Nope. I just want to see the... AoE's offense ratio. Is that too much to ask? CG? I guess it's not CG's fault anymore. Like, look at this. This is like already for 2 characters. Like, obviously Mothma and Chupio are the new marquees, so they're gonna get hit with some extra costs. But this is literally like Kylo's gear requirements almost. I think we're like 1 or 2 stun guns short, but just for 2 characters. And like, this is especially just a weird thing to analyze because I think most people would agree Chupio a damn good character. He's doing pretty good things. He's a very fun character to, like, I would like to farm him and gear him. So the idea of the event saying like, hey, what if you did that but also got something extra? Like, yeah, okay. And like, I've said my distaste. I'm not really... My general stance on Rogue One is I'll gear them over my dead body. I guess you could argue that Mon Mothma updates their value, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do it. I don't want to, especially just like... Because once you do Rogue One, then you're like, well, I guess I better do Phoenix ships as well. And then you're gearing Phoenix. And is that really a healthy place to be? Like, in terms of mental health, are you going to feel good about gearing Phoenix in 2020? Mothma's a monster gear? Yeah, absolutely. It'll be 1v2 to make it different. I guess that would solve us solving it. It is true. Anon and Ezra have some fringe uses. Yeah. And like, it's awkward for me as well. Like, I'm curious how you all feel. I mean, so the traditional holistic answer is that you're supposed to just look at this. Okay. This is cool. I kind of see what's going on. I kind of see what I'm going to need to work towards. Then that's all you're supposed to do. You just keep farming and hoarding gear. Like, that's the responsible play. With things coming more quickly, and especially because my ships are, I would say, playing the long game. They have been delayed indefinitely and forever. Like, I kind of just have to pre-commit right now, which doesn't feel great. But it feels like the best we can do is like, okay, let's do just a sheer value. And like, I don't think this is actually a good thing to do now. I think we at least need to see the second wave first. But I actually already had this kind of cheapskate. It was a really dumb investment that I made, especially considering the stuff that I have sitting lower relic. I thought that taking him to R5 would help against gas, like maybe save a banner sometimes if Old Ben was tanky enough. It didn't work. He totally still just dies. But he has gotten me some use, but like, do I think Old Ben R5 is worth it in a nutshell, or like in a vacuum? Like, what uses is he really seeing right now where the stats feel justified, or like he isn't expected to die? And LSTB, he's not taking a beating. If you put him with Luke lead, he's hanging out, right? You're popping basics, you're popping mind tricks. He's just a cool uncle. It's like, hey, check this out. I'm gonna extend your whole stun and speed lowering duration by like 6 turns. It's crazy. I don't think he feels particularly great. This also feels pretty bad, but if you're working on Jedi Luke, you're already within reach, and like R5 is a plenty fine place to stop at. This is easy sell. This is essentially something you might already have already. If you don't have Rey, if you haven't done this yet, it didn't feel all that necessary. Like, essentially, when you're bulking up JTR teams, it's only really going to help if you're using her in a matchup. Like, if you take a risky matchup and things start to go sideways, you'll be glad you have that extra bulk. If you're just using JTR lead to dunk on, like, average modded boss lead teams and GAC, like, you're not, it's not going to feel that great of an investment. And Mon Mothma, I don't know why that team makes me salty. I think it's just weird to try to theory craft for them, because how do you calculate damage on a bajillion attacks at 90% damage cost? I mean, hey, the Pal Terminator loops look fun. Like, it's fine. I'll if I end up going this direction, I'll begrudgingly do it. But the other big question here is, we have Luke in a new event capacity already, and then we have another new Luke event. And the divisive topic that I keep flip-flopping on this so hard is Jedi Knight Luke going to be required? Yes, I would love to gear Phoenix in 2020. How do I ban people in YouTube chat? How do I do this? Get out, sir. I want to see you in here again. It's also kind of funny to me that Piett somehow needs Relic 5. I guess Hux needed 5 as well, so that kind of checks. And Krennic is just randomly bloated to 4 for some reason. Like, someone had the theory that they would have Luke require Luke, and then... I'm expecting ship requirements. So... I agree, but I don't know if it's going to be in the capacity of actually in the prereq system, or just... how it was already, right? Where the ships are required to get the capital ship, but then that's about it. And what a rebel capital ship they'd make? Is Mothma associated with a capital ship? I actually don't know. Oh, one, let's kick Akbar out. Just make you refarm it again. Home 2. What? Mothma... God. Would they even mention anything here? I mean, it would have been in Battle of Endor, right? My eyes are glazing over already. Look, I don't know. So I think if we just assume following the pattern, I think there's no way in hell that the requirements are gonna be Home 1 and like Executrix or Thrawn, right? That's not a requirement. People get those on accident. It's like, oh, I got Thrawn. Shit, I actually accidentally got these Phoenix ships. Sure, I'll take a capital ship. Why not? Like, part of the hurdle for GLs was that you were forced to work on ships that you might not have had already. I don't think CG is gonna dip back on that requirement at all. Get out of here. Buy a check. Nope. Still no. She demilitarized the New Republic? Yeah, let's talk about Mon Mothma for a second. Let's talk about this hypocrite right here. Look at this. She is... My screen is going crazy. Yeah, what's this ability called? Advocate for peace. Alright, okay. That's fair. Peace is good. I like peace. What's she gonna do when it happens? The whole entire team behind her bum rushes in. And dogpiles whoever you're looking at. Yeah. Advocate for peace while literally your entire team pops off. It's good stuff. Really diplomat, by the way. Chimera GP? I mean, but... Oh, that's not right. Wait a minute. That number's really low. So what, 12% of players have gear 13, 55% have gear 12? A new Sith ship? Huh. Like, even the GP requirement. I do think Thrawn will be in Palpatine's requirements, let me be clear on that. Like, I was trying to give a look at what would be needed. Let's see if I can... Just gonna search Thrawn. List should be in here. I haven't done it for Luke. I think Luke is just gonna be stupidly hard to guess here. We have Thrawn. I think Kylo Ren unmasked. I don't think... I mean, they already said SLK, but even if that was the plan, I don't think it would make sense anyway. Crew here, probably Dooku Maul, I think, or Dooku Maul Sidious, right? Because we had, in Kylo's events, we had... Yes, I can blow this up a little bit. This is extremely tiny. That's just the same size. Good stuff. What? Alright, this is redacted. We just can't see it. Dooku Maul Sidious. Like, that's the weird thing, right? If you look at the requirements list so far, we're looking at, like, a really wide scattershot of eras. We have, I would say, I guess she's kind of been all over the place, but like kind of episode 3 era, episode 2, episode 1, sequels, and then 3 was a wild card. But like, I don't, it's really, really hard to guess aside from just like people that have been with them or alongside them and helped them. Savage for another obscure Sith. I think, so the weird thing about Rey in this case, right, was, or like Rey and Kylo, they didn't, like the factions weren't that deep, the character list wasn't that deep, so pretty much immediately CG had to start dipping into generics. Like, we just go look. And like First Order didn't even have enough to fill an entire list anyway by themselves, right? He did kick Savage in. Yeah, that's true. But right, so like look at this. Like this. Like, of course they're forced onto generics. If they wanted to require X amount of characters, it kind of always had to be this. But then you dip over to Sith, and suddenly, I guess the Resistance character count looks fairly similar, but we're into a lot more names. I don't think we're going to see Old Republic at all. I don't think here. I definitely think Fawcett will be in. I don't think these two will be in. But especially you dip over to Empire. A, there's a ton of Empire. B, there's a lot of named characters to draw from. I think it'll just be, like, whatever it's going to be, I don't think we'll see any generics in, really. I think it'll be named from Empire or Sith factions. Gar's Gear 13. Is this Prime Force's alt? Or are there two in the same chat? I don't understand. Sidious for sure. I think Sidious EP are locks. I don't think it's possible. And probably Relic 7, right? If you look at the pattern, we had Kylo, OG Kylo, and then middle Kylo. Call it Relic 7. I guess the weirdest part is maybe, like, if we look at this, you look at EP Relic 7, that fits the pattern. JTR Relic 7, I mean, JTR had to do BB-8, but BB-8 was like their closest ally. I guess JTR is literally the only character that this version of Luke has like interacted with at all, so maybe CG's hands were tied. 2 Palps and 2 Lukes. It would seem insane to me for CG to require a Luke for one thing, but not the other. Like, that's just such a... Unless the kind of argument I got from, I think, Sig was if they do extreme overlap, then you kind of subsidize that off balance by... Instead of like, oh, this event requires an extra insane character, you're essentially doing the requirements of getting 2 for 1. Like, I think that's a... It's a bit mental gymnastic-y, but I think it works. Expecting 15 requirements. I think now that we got the update, we actually have the list. Or not like the list, but we can count. Like, we already know it's coming in 3 groups, which is why the clock is now pushed to 5 or 6 weeks. We have less time. I don't know. I don't know how to look at this. I don't know if this is... I mean, they use the art. I guess holistically, this is supposed to just be... This is so weird. Like, this requirement list so far feels like... It feels very Journey-esque, right? It's characters that they've come across and worked with over the course of their lifetime. Mom Mothma feels kind of weird there, but hey, she's a recent new character, and they already have most of the Rebel family in here. But, like... There's just so many different versions of, like, could Princess Leia be a requirement? I think probably. Farmboy Luke being an R7, I feel like definitely. That's a tough pill to swallow, too, because just... Stick and OG Kylo have uses. I don't... Not to diss on the boy, but... I mean, I don't know. 40% Terminator gain, you could do worse. Just... Yeah. He's like a weird bootleg clone sergeant. You've met all release requirements minus Piett? Damn. You are on it. Radar for Luke? Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah. I would actually... Looks very, very clean. Can we... Okay, chat. We need to... Let's take a moment here. We can agree that this name is trash, right? I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in saying this. I think at first I was like, what was CG thinking? And then after looking at the journey guide today, it feels like I'm seeing invisible trademarks, like registered trademarks in next to the name, right? I think Sith Eternal Emperor, like, I'm actually just gonna Google this. I don't know if this is just... Sorry, the screen is gonna break for a second. Is that just their name, I guess? Okay, up. Sith Eternal's name was Battlefront 2 Sin. Okay, so this is just straight up a branding thing, right? That's kind of a shame. I don't know. Sith Eternal is just such a dumb name itself. Like... Huh. But even then, I feel like you could just go Sith Emperor Palpatine. I don't know, just something about this combination of words just bugs the hell out of me. I mean, like, once you know this, then you kind of read it differently, right? It's just like, this is just, like, this could just say Empire Emperor. Bad example. Like, I don't know. What's a good example? Does it even work? Like, once you read this as, like, not a... Like, at first this was just like, okay, he's a Sith. He was around for a long time. It was like noun, adjective, noun. I was just like, how am I supposed to read this? But I guess it's just a faction name. Sith Emperor Palpatine sounds meh. I agree, but like, if you're... I think... Like, what can you even do to jazz up Sith Eternal? Like, how do you rebrand that? Like, you really don't want to cut the Sith Eternal name? All right, sir. Like, we'll come up with what we can. Like, you know what? This would be bold. This would be ambitious. I just say don't give him a name. I just say call him Sith Eternal. Self-res since he clones himself? The idea that I would want to see is that you don't actually take him into battle. You just, when your Darkside Empire lead, or Darkside lead dies, he just appears in the fight. Like, wait, I thought I defeated the bad guy. He's like, no, you thought. We're making another movie. Eternal Emperor Palpatine? Yeah, I think that sounds great. Yeah, I don't know. Just, Palpatine not being here just feels weird. I don't know. It's not that big of a... Just... You all know what I'm saying. But yeah, so like... Royal Guard at a glance, it feels pretty bad, I think, as a requirement. Unless you assume that Piett is somehow going to be like a Royal Guard, like, two-man power team. Which is possible, but again, I think lack of counter chance. And the fact that I think Vader with Piett lead, or just Piett being there, you're kind of just expecting to completely steamroll them, right? I don't think that you're really worried too much about taking the hits after that. I mean, matchup depending, right? Like, you can't guarantee that Vader's just gonna decimate everyone, but... You ever referred to as Palpatine by Rey or Kylo? Doesn't Rey say, like, I'm a Palpatine? I can't look it up for fear of Mickey Mouse coming to my house and beating me up. It's not on stream, but Empire and Sith need a reviver. So, just looking at the pattern, just looking at everything, the two GLs beforehand had double marquee releases. We had Hux, Sith Trooper, and the two Hero Bros. Palpatine is due for something, especially if we're assuming Luke is required here, which they might just have like requirement overlap, but not actually Luke, or I don't know, it's hard to say. But Empire, if this is going to be balanced even, Empire is due for their equivalent of Poe as like a late bloomer. General Pride. Is he more likely to be a capital ship? Is General Pride... So, Empire already has enough capital ships in the game compared to other factions. I could just see it being a Sith capital ship instead. General Pride, like in episode 9... Was he in the Sith fleet? Pride is Marquee 2, gross. Yeah, we don't like. Think about it this way. This would be like one of the first situations I think I can think of. Well, actually, Executrix and Thrawn already had this problem. I was gonna say you legitimately just don't have room to make a third fleet, but I take it back, you don't even have room to make a second, so maybe it's like it should be like Empire plus Sith synergy is probably right, because I would just double down on Vader as well. Alex Leviathan, it's time, boys. Was he the episode 9 flagship? I genuinely don't remember. I think it's gotta be. Like, they're just due for like a second marquee character. That would make Luke's side a lot rougher. I'm just gonna take your word for it, Flair. I still don't know if you're talking about 8 or 9, so I believe you. I believe that it's plausible next one. 9. Okay. Then yeah, I'd say that potentially seems likely. But sorry for going quiet for a second here. CG has seen like pretty remiss from like if these are actually just sequel variants, I don't think we're gonna see any Empire synergy at all, actually. I mean, Vader will still get in because he's a Sith ship anyway, right? But I think I'd take back what I was saying. If anything, it might just be Sith First Order, which now that I'm saying it actually seems pretty likely, but also for the issues we were just talking about, like what Alex is just like, are you kidding me? I don't know. I mean, maybe it has tags of both, but just expects to run ships. TIE Bomber has to be in. I think it'll be required. I don't know if it's gonna be meta. That's just for all of the initial like useful information that we got from the reveal. It just raised so many more questions because we have this like cross era. I guess Palpatine is pretty. This is 100% consistent so far. Palpatine is pure OG trilogy. But, like, Luke is everywhere. Luke is in pretty much everything except for prequels. So I mean, if there was like a Leia, like General Leia that got added. Set the Eternal being a new tag? That seems... And like what? Would they just strip out... Like what does that mean for him? They just give him a third tag? Luke is in episode 3. You know what? I think most people would actually... Like so many people... Like GK is actually just straight up one of the most Relics people in the game. Like actually just... Alright. Piett check. %45% at Gear 13. 140,000 people. That's... Man. It's always cool to me to see when a lot of people just gel around that. I think the sad thing is, I think that came around from gas events. And this... You didn't have to do it for gas events. Not to say that GK doesn't deserve it, but for other reasons. But then again, I don't know. I just should have gotten that guide out sooner, I guess. But yeah, we have weird... There's just a lot of weird implications. I don't know. Like, I think I like the idea of this event a lot more if this... Hopefully, I think CG has seen the feedback of the old GL events, and if these are just like mega journeys, and I guess he's like if this is just his sequel form, but we have all Empire requirements so far, maybe you can make that assumption. But yeah, just like a massive hero's journey event, right? Because when you think about the format for Luke and Rey, things got really, really weird suddenly. Of like, the event format was just faction versus faction, and then you dueled, then you did faction versus faction, then you did faction versus faction, and then the same thing, right? Like, wait, I don't even think. What's the restrictions? I actually don't remember. Do they hardlock it out of Vedhan, right? They hardlock it out of Palpatine too. It literally is just faction versus faction, huh? Interesting. Yeah, so like if we assume suddenly that these requirements are gonna be more associated with who the people are used to being with or working with, like it just makes a lot of the stuff a lot weird to think about, like what the event is gonna even look like. I don't know. I think CG made the duel events with good intentions. I think they want to start making more cinematic looking battles. 291 have Krennic relics. Oh, that number was 24 hours ago. So I know it's going to be busted. Hit me, sir. JKR getting ready for Master Luke. I mean, look, you have to think about this like CG thinks about kit design, okay? We have, like, CG is already beginning the path. They're starting to learn. We have Luke here with some... Luke is, like, slightly disciplining himself. He's, like, slightly apologetic for the fact that his faction ever did it. We have 5 mentions of Old Republic in the kit. But Luke is not a Galactic Legends, and as we all know, Galactic Legends are the most powerful. So Luke's just not experienced enough to deal with the Revan issue correctly. So Jedi Master Luke is just going to immediately defeat Revan the moment that you draft him into the team and try to start a battle. Just don't even, no savior, no anything, just completely obliterated. Don't even try. That's the CG way. CG is just gonna, like, not only do you lose Revan for the rest of that battle, he's dead, he's also locked out from your account until you write CG Leviathan and apologize for being degenerate. It's the only way I can really see CG trying to balance this. But yeah, right, I mean, that's kind of, I don't know if I actually dove into this yet. Right. My Empire list sucks horribly. And my Jedi list, like, it's just for meta chasing, but in general, right? Like, there's a lot more to work with here. So, like, everything else aside, you should just do the research correctly and get your information and make the informed choice. But if you're trying to hit something early, I don't know. It really, it's, my decision making is going to revolve heavily around week 2. But I don't think Palpatine's within reach for me. I think it would be Luke, just because, at least for right now, Luke feels fairly within reach. And, like, you know, Jedi, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of crossover. Maybe Jedi Luke, probably Hermit Yoda, very likely Hermit Yoda. And he's already done. Like, the rest of this, I don't think you're hitting a single character in this list. And if we're keeping with the dad theme, then maybe some version of Gas would be funny, but it'd be weird. They're just gonna. I was gonna say this jokingly, but I actually could just see CG breaking off and making an Old Republic Jedi faction tag or something once they do KOTOR 2, just to absolve themselves from this hole they've designed themselves into. But, like, I don't know. You did Jedi Luke, and, like, this team I just relics because they're good. I feel like I might be in RA position. It really just depends. Again, you should wait until kits, but when your ships look like this, they have Bomber at 93 out of 80, Y-Wing at 69 out of 80. And also... at least Cam isn't needed. That's probably the most... Well, wait. We're saved. because the GL event is hitting 2 weeks sooner, we now have 2 weeks to try to get. What? I don't even remember what Yadi's gear looks. I'm pretty sure it's GL-esque. It's probably like in the Luke ballpark. I think it's 700 Kairos, actually. Oh, I'm completely off. 400 Cairo, 3 stun gun, 6 carb. The more I like tunnel vision farm on stuff, I have started to mind carbs a lot less than other stuff, I will say. If you really just drill on it, you've got a lot of sources. And I kind of feel the same about Kairos too. We have GET store, GAC store, normal nodes for those, and then guild store as like a just insane source of carbs, daily challenges. Shard shop, I might actually stop doing them from shard shop. It feels like, I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty good about balancing spending versus not spending on priority stuff in shard shop. Why do I still keep things locked or at lower stars than I could have them? I need credits mostly. I'm not exactly rolling in credit dough. Yeah, Flavor, this kind of turned into more than I expected. I don't know, I'm just happy to be streaming, playing with the new toys. I stopped doing the green screen as much. I just need to redo my desk so that the green screen isn't to my right. It's kind of janky to use. But yeah. Alright. I think we said most of what there is to say. So, can just hit the reset button a little bit. Alright. So we do have stuff going on. I mean, this matchup today, I don't think there's really that much to need to say. We have a huge mod advantage, I don't think he has a character over 300 degree of mod advantage. He has a way bigger, just older, like an insane higher number of G12 than I do. Like when you scroll this far and you're still seeing yellow, it's pretty indicative, but it seems like a negligible amount of savings. So what I usually do is I'll keep people saved up. Like, I'll just keep on hoarding up shards, and then the moment that there's anything in the shard shop that I actually can't afford just by daily, Bronzium or GW store income, then I will scroll on down here. I think I've actually cashed in 2 or 3 of them recently, and just get like a decent 4,000 shard shop bomb. But like, I'm not using these characters. Like, my general approach to everything is I don't really touch characters unless I intend to use them. So like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did it to Ugnaught because Ugnaught has the good stuff. But, I mean, shoot, if it wasn't for Hyperdrive Bundle, these people would ideally still this. I mean, like, from the perspective of being lean, I think that the concept of being a lean account already just seems so comical now. Like, saying lean in the same word as having an entire faction geared just seems like an absolute joke. So, LSTB made a huge difference when you geared everything. I tend to have very hot takes when it comes to TB and guild stuff. Like, in my personal opinion, you should never personally do a farm related to platoons. Because generally speaking, in most guilds that I've been in, especially if we're talking like, what? By the way, I don't know if this is irresponsible or what, but I have just been pre-buying these as a, like, these were such a big bottleneck. I could probably just stop here for now because I used to just buy them from the guild store, of course, but I think this almost feels like kind of a trap now. That's fair to say. But like, these could just be carbs instead, and if you're trying to push a deadline, you're essentially wasting crystals by buying these instead of carbs, right? Like 5 of these versus it's 280 for 5 carbs. I can't do this. It's like what? 75 for this crystal wise, and then carb is probably some insane amount. Is that true? I actually don't know if that's true because you only do 20 of these versus 1400 for a full carb. No, because even if like 50 of these would still just be 750. So carbs are almost double the crystal value. I think it's not 1-to-1. But anyway, yeah. So the idea of it's the same with like black eyeball, right? Which I haven't really touched those yet. I should actually probably start doing the same thing. I'm not scrolling through this whole damn. You get what like everyone knows the black eyeballs by now. I'm just trying to, because the weekly shipment rarely gives you everything you need in a situation where you're trying to like wrap things up. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead of the curve on stuff that you tend to need high quantities of at a low crystal cost. I don't know. We'll see. See if it works out. Yeah. Mostly just waiting for the second requirements. Let's do the thing. I don't know. I have a win condition for like real matchups. I think it's like like all there really is to say is like, hey, it's been a while. It's actually really disturbing to think about the fact that out of the last 12 weeks, 8 of them have been 3v3. Like I was going through GAC data and just, it's so useless because like this guy didn't have Luke back then. I don't know what his plans with Luke are. So, I mean, double GL versus zero GL, which by the way, that's, in case you weren't here at the start, that's exactly what's happening right now. He doesn't have, he's working on one, but he's working on Nada. I'm working on both of them double south front, just for good measure. Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's some spicy stuff in here. I don't think there's anything too alarming. Because I was so focused on the GL announcement when it happened, I was mid GAC remod. So there is some painful stuff, let's say. I'm gonna have to work through or figure out. Oh, I didn't even... I might change things a little bit, actually. I was gonna nest this. The only thing that's tragic is been shy on tenacity mods lately, so nest is... You don't want to see white here, generally. Especially for a lot of tenacity. This is like the one set that you don't want to see white in, but it's just a matter of resources. Screen can't... I'm sorry. Like I said, this is insanely hard to do. Thank you. Literally, like... I have 3 screens and a phone now, and it still doesn't feel like enough sometimes. Maybe? I don't know. It's a weird cost to consider. But anyway, yeah, so we have Padme with actually enough potency. The Anakin was fine. Anakin I'm not concerned about, but I don't know. These Geos are pretty relicked out, but we have the speed advantage, and I don't think I'm really that concerned about much else. The spy, despite being relic 3, is actually like very shoddy modded, so I think we just take this as a Sion 2v5. I mean, again, Traya being gear 12 might be at a risk if we get some bad pain RNG. We do have, I did still keep the potency cross on Sion. I think that just feels like a good habit to have. We'll see. More switching. I have a switchboard on my phone. Like, God. Stream decks for streaming, like the physical ones, cost you like $150 minimum. Yeah, GeoFi go way longer because GBA was tanky. Yeah, it's possible. We'll see. I don't think Sion should be in danger of dying at the very least. This is a squishier Sion setup, but yeah, that was Spy's one chance. All right, and that was the second chance. I'm a little bit surprised at how well they're juggling Sion's turns, considering he's the fastest. Huh. Alright. Please cease and desist. Good talk. That was insane. They actually looped like 2 full turns. I mean, it really is just Spy, Terminator, Unique, and Geo, or GBA. I don't... Wait, do I have... I think I went off of Crit Avoid Arrow. That's actually a little bit ambitious. That's... Interesting. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. That might be... I mean, I do think for consistency's sake, going first is the more important, but I do have some speed secondary to play with. It's gonna be more necessary. So this nest is more on the fast end, not really. They gave her a tenacity. We're also not about it. Let's see. It is a Watt. There's no tank though, so it's just gonna be random on who he puts the tank tech on. It's actually fairly slow, but I guess considering his mods that we saw, not that surprising. Let's see. So we can roll this out very, very quickly. Boil this down. We have a Hermit Yoda that could potentially go with Nests, but I would prefer to have against Grievous. But Nest, I don't think is going to be in range because Padme is going to be over range even with Master's Training, I think, against this. That will be 100%. Turbo's going to put her to 200%. It's rough. Okay, I don't think we can Nest this. So we do Jedi here. What do we actually prefer against Padme here then? Ice health protection combined. I think that's 4 tanks. God, where's my DMs? I actually have this on hand. Flare boot provided. Apparently they data mined the actual AI turn order, or like preference order. Here we go. Look a second. Care to share in Discord? Yeah, sure. Just at Clash when in doubt, true. I don't know, I'm pretty sure. I have a very strong memory of expecting the tank piece to go on Nest and it just went onto the weakest. I'm pretty sure it is random if no one has a tank tag, or a tank tag. We could just do Padme against GG and JKL these guys. Interesting. That Nest missing mod is actually going to cause some major pain points, I think. My tenacity is so spread right now. I think I actually would just want to consolidate back for GAC. Luke lead versus NS. I feel like I'd rather get some better value out of them. And whatever you think, Luke. Alright. Maybe Padme. Huh, wait. I'd never actually tried the Clash team. I assume on offense it's going to be pretty ridiculous, even against Padme. I think the assists, from his video, it seems like the assists don't really matter. I think the TM overflow changes has actually kind of scared me off of JKR against GG a little bit. Alright, we just need a Raven Warrior. That being said, this almost makes me want to do JTR, but that's... I mean, let's see. We have not the fastest mods on them anymore. I did take some off of them while I was working on everything else pre-News Bomb. Interesting that I use MT Lead. Using MT Lead as a junk team because we got this action going on. Just... yeah. You will notice there's only 3 nice sisters in this team. A bit scuffed, but I don't think we really need that intense of a defense up top. It's more just a tax team, or at least that's the hope. I actually really wanted to hold Grievous for today, and even looking at this, I think I was justified in wanting so. So the only thing that I'm scared of right now is if we draft JTR and Watt places a tank tech on Nest, then we're going to end up taking a beating that I don't really want to sign up for. Like, we should be able to take it, but I think it's going to cost us. And if we take a beating on the wrong person, then we're no longer happy with ourselves. At the same time, this is enough that my Gear 12 Geos feel a little bit awkward. I mean, we do have kind of a bootleg first order. This feels sketchy. This feels less than ideal. I mean, we do have a speed lead on First Order Officer. We don't have a pre-taunt on their team. That is very sketch. Tend to agree. We need a cleanse. Okay, let's make this simpler. Is there any actual penalty to running CLS here? I actually don't think there is. I think we can just get away with it. JKL with Thrawn and DN. I don't think we need Thrawn. We have Shakti. I did rob the crate a little bit on her, but like, how do you evaluate JKL? I've never actually been in this position, I don't think. This is so weird. I don't think JKL is a favorable matchup here. I think this is actually also a big issue. I think we just JKL the Padme, actually. Okay. I think I'm gonna lock on that. I might just try, like, JKL Clones. That being said, then... Who's the cut? Who did Clash cut? Because you need Shakti in as a speed lead. I think this feels too bad. We'll stop Echo, or we'll stop Nute from reviving. Do we actually get out in front, though? We actually have... Do we actually? My powers have doubled since the last time. Yeah, sure. You could do worse. This doesn't feel great. I think you could do worse. I thank you for planning to try, and I just want to try some fun stuff. I've never actually tried JKL Clones. That actually would have been fairly painful for JTR as well, we'll say. So we're supposed to aim at Nute, I think, right? So banner-wise, I don't know that there's any possible way. Maybe, no. Maybe if the protection up could, like, heal tank through the burn, but it's 3 turns, there's no way. It's inescapable. Tax me, sir. I actually wasn't sure if that targeting was going to be a little bit throwy. Alright. He can be vulned. Damn. Alright, I mean, 59. Consider the relics involved. Ooh. Wait, we got some spice. Wait, this is... Sir? Where's the... He doesn't have a rebel tag, sir. Sir, what? I have bad news. Was this supposed to be CLS? Huh. Okay. Placing that team at a so yes, I think that very well may likely just be what's happening here. Like, double GL JKL versus JKL is just so one-sided. I can't blame him. And hey, it's something to play against. So what does this mean for us? Because he doesn't have a fast opener. Like, this will come along some point soon. Like, he does have double Zeta, so this Terminator will catch up, kind of. I think we could just JTR this. Have Relic 7 Cup in your back wall. That is... Huh. Has it gotten any defense? Should know about anything spicy on the match history. So, I've done the team. I've done the new thing. Part of me kind of wants to try the old school boss lead gas counter. I did make sure, I do every single time, I have this weird ass SWAT modding specifically for this scenario, and yet here I am now, I'm not sure if I actually want it. And we do actually have... Like, I had to rectify the team to be able to out-tank like a Relic 6 Bosk with Bosk lead with all the extra protection, and still like be able to do his job decently well for Vader. This is actually kind of hard stats. We have enough potency to be relevant against tenacity array teams. We have enough protection to get guard, and we have enough speed to still keep up. This is actually, I'm kind of proud of the SWAT, to be honest. That being said, I don't think I'm gonna use it. I don't think I've only done this once. I don't really remember. I guess, is there anything special I need to know, sir? Health set kind of helps a little bit. Alright, so very damage oriented. Very not speed oriented. I assume we could just shoot gas first, right? I don't think there's any real reason not to. I think 3PO might actually end up going very, very early in this team as well, which is kind of unfortunate. But if we save this, then we can 3PO JTR against Luke, which is also a very tempting offer. Alright, is this throwy? We really don't have to do this, but also... Like, do we prefer keeping Watt open, or do we prefer keeping 3PO for JTR as a cheap kill? It's difficult. God, it would be so nice if we had a sandbox right now. I can make up my mind. We do have less damage on Han than usual. I don't actually remember. I know that there was some follow-up video for this team where I changed the turn order and it was way better, and I don't even remember what it is. Alright, I'm just getting out of here. Let's just... We have other ways to kill Jedi Luke, I think. I hope. Otherwise this is going to be really awkward. Alright. Let's see. I think 3PO does actually look like he's coming fairly soon. Why is Chupio so fast, actually? Wait a minute. Huh? Yeah, okay, that's why we did it. Let's see. I think a Rex stun here would probably feel the best if we could land it. We do not. Alright, we really just need to try to get this down done before Rex pops off. We kept some nukes, so we should be in pretty good shape. I think this should feel pretty comfy. Look at the turn meter. Alright. Gas is probably standing back up though, so I feel like I need to just use AoE now. Shubio probably dies here, right? Depending on targeting. Okay, pretty ideal. I do have, you'll notice Luke is not being crit. I took the Zeta for this exact purpose right now while we have a low gear Chupio stealing guard, and I gave him a crit avoid arrow as well, so he's gonna have to get countered though. This is gonna hurt. Please. He had to do the follow-up attack. Literally the one way. I knew. Hey, fine. This last stand-up is gonna hurt as well then. Yeah, I think my 3PO is too fast right now. Like, he's modded for other teams, not this one. If we don't actually end up killing him on this snapshot, then this is going to feel really, really bad. So I think I'm supposed to just hold it and just take the stand-up. Right, I think that's logical. Or do we just... Okay, it did work. Damn. still guarded. We can still... Oh, that's some stupid luck. Yeah, I think this team needs polished modding. Take the AoE and... Flare, isn't that just more incoming damage, though? Because he still... So, what happened there is he got counterattacked twice because he assists off of Chewie assist. So, even if we did the AoE, he still does another attack and gets countered twice, right? This is the unfortunate part. So what? I mean, based on requirements... It's... So, I actually don't know if guard factors in... I don't want to test this right now. The stream's already been going a pretty long time. Actually, man, YouTube is so annoying to stream on. It seemingly cuts off after 2 hours all the time, so I need to try to wrap it up by then, or I'm probably just gonna have to split this into 2 videos and re-upload them. Okay, we don't have 3PO anymore, which kind of makes JTR here feel significantly less comfy. And we can't ability block off Old Ben from using this, I believe, right? I mean, it's me to cooldown manipulation. It doesn't say anything about ability block, man. So maybe. Vader what? Yeah, actually, yeah. Old Ben's gonna get a lot, but... Is it throw to kill Old Ben first, or just try to ability block him? Yeah, based on the wording, I think it's fine. So what does that leave then? If we Luke here... I guess Padme against GG is the flavor of the day, unless we do Bastila. Yeah, I think we just huck some damage at Luke and call it a day. Go for the ability block on Ben. So this is what? Potentially 30% turn meter on here? Do we even need to care about this? Maybe she comes online at some point and throws an ability block that makes things annoying. I don't think we're in danger, though. In fact, we actually could just... Well, if we're gonna do Sith against... I think we need to keep this going. Why does this song just have a minute of silence at the end? Hello? I was gonna skip something. Alright. Vader, Watts. That scoundrel. Who's a tank? Do something non-committal. Is there an argument to actually just split off? God, so I will say, looking at the Jango teams right now, I think Jedi Luke is actually going to hit at a really, really important time. Because we have enough Jedi leads that are, like, recruiting right now, and we don't have enough to go around, it feels like. Or at least the impulse kind of becomes to shaft Padme sometimes, which also doesn't really feel great, because she was pretty clearly designed with this core 4 in mind. Yeah, no, okay, I think we just stick with this. I don't think EP's gonna need... Well, we did use Traya, actually. I don't think we can actually do EP versus GG. Oh, this is gonna be very, very risky. Maybe. Okay. Any value in EP lead? Only reason why I'm not drafting it here is because I want to potentially be able to do EP Bastila against Grievous. Like what, we'll have EP Bastila and Nihilist. Do we actually have what you would want there? That puts it as 4. That's... I made GG. I was... Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's been a while for me, but it's not a WOT GG, so I'm not too scared or concerned. Okay, do we really need anything aside from this? I don't think we do. We just have a crazy Vader fuel. We have Sith Empire Trooper just in case. Safety net. Protection might actually not end up being that good here, but we'll see. We actually could just even do this for good measure and take that out. Is there anything? Han has days that could screw with Brute's response. I don't think I mind this. This feels like a better core. I don't mind hanging on to a Sith Trooper either. Let's do this. The song is a bit too slow for my liking. This is a bunch of lo-fi music. I'm down with it, but there's a minimum. I need a minimum amount of energy to feel anything. Alright. We got the pre-taunt. We don't really need to do tank tech. I think we just get the Vader pop off. Jesus. Do we actually get the Luke one-shot right now? I think we do, right? Damn. Okay. Yeah. This is a bit tragic for this team. First Order officer, or Sith Trooper as well, just like, please, sir, let me participate. That was gross. Better makes JKL so pointless. If you... Yeah, in 3v3, I was posting like a 357 Shock T. I think you can still put pressure there. I mean, 3v3, of course, Vader gets less speed. It's a different thing. And, like, clones is interesting as well, right? Huh. Alright, Luke. Padme. I guess we do actually still have JKR open. Oh! It's a Relic 7 B2. Oh, he does have the Grid Avoid, actually. Only one protection, but... This feels like playing with more than we really need to. I think Padme would probably just feel better here. He does have the tenacity. Not a tenacity cross, but still puts him in a competitive spot. And I don't know. Alright, let's just do this first. I can use versus Night Sister. I mean, it's winner takes Night Sisters versus who doesn't get drafted for... We're allowed to do this now, right? But, I don't know. Not a fan. I'll pass. Alright, so the assist spam... Oh, we actually have them faster than Shock T. Fair enough. We're just kind of parked on GK for a while, right? I don't really mind... I guess just give him the purple protection. Just kind of... I'll play this like GG, I think. We're just going to aim at GK pretty much the entire time. Just pressure indirectly. That and Rex Nute, of course. Let's give Rex speed up. Let's keep the train rolling. Yeah, might as well. Really no point in the Shock T assist call, right? I think we just hold it. They are actually catching up and starting to take turns. Alright. It's interesting 2% dodge you got there, Ahsoka. I'll take it. Can't complain. Huh. I mean, if we pop Padme, we just... Wait. Aerial assault can be dodged, right? Woo! That would have been unfortunate. We could actually just press this to cycle it, but we're going to get stuck on GK if we do. So I think we just take Anakin and say thank you along the way. Was this a throwy taunt to throw up now. I mean, they are kind of cashing in some courage bombs suddenly. It does feel a little bit throwy. Calling Arc should bypass the Foresight. We'll get an extra assist that will actually get the GK taunts off. Okay, most of their courage should be dispelled. This team struggles with a GK. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, Padme is what ends this fight sooner, but I think I would have taken the Padme nuke there and let them just let Anakin get his single pop off, but okay, that's should just be it. I mean, we could try to get some banners back. I think ideally. I don't know, I guess we could just maximize assist calls for a while. I think they're gonna out-regen us though. I don't know if that's a really safe call, but this stun is gonna help at least. I'm just gonna hold on Nuke. Arc is closest to 100% for health first, so we'll just... And we're not really getting Echo basics, so it's not really that much healing, I guess, but anything helps. I came out of proc-5s. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, it's hard to say. We're really not regenerating that much. Like, Echo would have benefited the most here, and he's not with us. Is there any way that we can get this extension? We don't really have anyone who's going to take a turn to heal Rex up. Like, best case scenario we have, I think, is... Okay, let's actually just stall. If Shakti has another heal in her. Which I'm not sure if she does. Totally does. Alright. That should be full health banners. Not bad. Not the worst. It's... Depending on how you play it, it's more than you're usually going to get in like a JKR versus Padme, I think. I mean, Tenacity and Magna means that we're pretty much forced on relying on Ahsoka to get the taunt off and keep it off. It's a speed at. I mean, his speed is pretty low on average, so I think we're going to have... Well, 200 is not the worst. It'll creep up on Padme. I'm not too fond of this. The modding is at least anti-Padme enough to feel a bit comfortable, but we really don't have that much GR left. Are we really just... She's built to work with what she's got, but... It's a 242 B1. That's actually a ton of breathing room. If we get the shock on B2 and then fracture Magna, I think the lack of isolate isn't going to feel that bad, but we have two big shock concerns. Man, this feels a little bit sketchy. We have a huge speed advantage though. I mean, Sith Trooper as a draft, as a safety net draft, isn't the worst here either. I think this could work. Could. We don't have AoE. Like, this is what... Yeah, we use Sion. I don't think this is a safe play. What's up, stud? Alright, let's just do the dang thing. Not you. Man, drafting Ahsoka. Wait, we don't even have Ahsoka. Wait, this feels like a trap. Or at least we're gonna have to all-in Magna first, which is not how you play this matchup. I don't think I can take this. Not with this remaining Padme team. We can... So we do have a fast R2. We actually could just pre-smoke. And then Anakin AoE. That actually might have to be the way to play here. But that means that we're going to open up with an Anakin AoE, and that's just courage that we're throwing away to B2. This is a really ugly remaining team. Yeah, I don't like this anymore. I fully agree. And I don't even think we even needed Ahsoka in that fight either. So that was a pretty big waste, I would say. We just YOLO with what we got. This IPD is gonna die so badly. Yeah, I think JKR is just an unknown. I wouldn't mind diving in, but I think this might just have the better shot at keeping control. Alright. We're gonna have to try to get IPD up and rolling super quickly. Thrawn should be next in turn order, so we could just open with a swap. That B2 here is actually extremely fortunate for us here. So we could actually... Whoever we hit actually should pop Nihilus above Droideka, I think, or at least it's going to be, no, Overflow means that it's consistent. It's tricky. I don't think we can fracture yet, or at least if we do, it's going to have to be like this. This doesn't look like staggers in here. I'm not sure if we... Basic B2, does a stagger actually count? I think it might. No. Alright, we got the shock we needed. We got the other shock we needed. We're in pretty alright shape here. I don't think we have anything to make Thrawn basic good here. It's actually going to be a very nice basic for Nihilus, though. I can't complain about that. This speed up does kind of suck. If I do say so. And I do say so. This is kind of unnecessary shock risk. If we fish for it and it fails, just... There we go. We got the cycle. We apply the shock. Generally, a lot of breathing room, I'd say. We need to count stacks, though. Let's see. I think placing ability block here for Thrawn to use on the restun will be quite nice. Shock back on Droideka. It's actually kind of cute. Got target lock on B1. Just for good measure. Yeah, it's a safe fracture. Yeah, I think we're pretty comfy. Get the shock here. I could just take out B1 pretty comfortably. I kind of wanted to keep the fear on B1, but I think we can just loop him to death. Got EP in pretty good loop shape. I guess we start needing to think about protection. We actually kind of need to stop looping EP if we're going to try to stall for a Thrawn swap. Doesn't look like we land him in the exposes, so not that bad. B1, I'm sorry, going to die off the first one, but... kind of just want to convert off a shot. Okay. I see you, Relic 7 Palpatine. Just show off. Please just let me get a swap. Okay. I was not expecting... He is not really damage modded either. I was not expecting him to just roll Droideka like that. The B2 was supposed to die. The Droideka was extremely not. Fracture B1? I thought about it, but I think if I fractured B1, then in about 4 turns, once Magna came around the horn again, I would regret not having it there. Bass is giving him offense. Yeah. But Palpatine still just has a really bad ratio, right? As I recall. It's like 134% or something. Even with the bumps. Do we have Piett yet? Just want to see. Oh, it's not even. I gave him double the credit he even deserves. We're like B1 assist status here. Does he give himself... He gives himself the buff after it's 2, so it's not even like you get the 50% and then go. Damn. It's unfortunate for him. Still no Piett. Damn. I just want to see the number. Just want to see how big it is. Is that too much to ask? We have both now. Huh. Interesting. I see. This is gonna be his crown jewel. Yeah. Closer. She's on her way there. We have a lot of speed lead, but I think Padme is still gonna end up with less banners. I don't know, is JKL just gonna feel good here? I haven't drafted against this team in a while. I kind of want to try Old Ben. I think Old Ben would feel really, really good against Night Sisters, actually. Or at least he buys you a mulligan turn off when you kill someone and Daka resets and Asajj resets. I don't hate that. Or is GK just a safer ad? I kind of want to run this. I think this will be fun. The LSTB runs of this team has spoiled me. Just too fun. So this is going to take a hot minute to actually get rolling and get the stuff we want. Alright. Didn't get the ability block here. She already used her Shindig, so I might just work on Asajj. Let's see, if we aim up here, do we actually go before Talzin if we go for the extension, or are we just supposed to say thank you and take it? Let's be a little bit greedy. Our speed is so much better than theirs is. But we got her below 50%. This feels like we might just get the buffs yanked off immediately again, but I guess at the very least we keep the taunts. And credits where it's due. This NS team is very beefcake compared to what I'm used to. Really unfortunate plagues for their team, if I do say so myself. That should have been aimed at Daka. Whatever. She might actually have another buff yank up. The timing, I feel like the timing on these cooldowns tends to line up very, very closely with each other. Should be a bit unfortunate. Yep. I'm pretty sure it actually lines up the exact same time usually. Anakin for the raw damage. Eh. I don't know why I keep on aiming Asajj. We'll just mark Daka. We'll be pretty comfy. Just Savior all over again? Dude, I'm telling you, once I'm on autopilot mode, full Lizard Braid activate. I mean, I'm totally just extending the fight for the sake of getting Panos back. Totally what's happening here. Don't worry about it. I think we swapped to Hyoda. This might be a little bit too early to start doing this type of thing, but I think it'll be fine. We really do just need to address you. Okay. She's addressed. Alright, we've got Jolie in range. I think Eseda Hyoda is going to be the best feeling here. It's going to be a bit of a trip to actually try to get Revan back to full. I think we can do it, though. And we've got time to stall on Zombie. Pop the Foresights. We've got... This isn't the worst waste of damage. Alright, I'm gonna play faster. We're gonna feed Towson some turns here, but it's going on Old Ben. He can take the heat on Revan. I think we're... If we're not there already, we're 1 assist away, so this should just be that. We've got AoE Foresight, so I don't think anyone's getting taxed here, and then we just end the game. Should be 60. These emoji. Yeah. Oh god, I ain't seen that. Alright, so a little bit of behind the scenes. If you actually look kind of closely when I swap between scenes, we've got... It's 4 different chat boxes, and for whatever reason I could not explain to you, the color changing settings are completely different per chat. So I try to get it as close looking as possible, but it's... Behind the scenes is a nightmare. I don't understand the science behind it or anything. I got them looking kind of close, but the difference in settings, like, they're completely different. It's... But yeah, alright. Let's get ships and get out of here. My eyes. Yeah, I might just stop worrying about the formatting. I think normal text could look fine. Less thematic, but thematics only get you so far. So knock on wood, but ever since the TM overflow changes, I think this matchup feels way more stomachable. Now that we can guarantee Vulture going first. And this is 6 stars, so we're definitely going first. So we just get the optimal. Wait, this is... Wait. I think I made this mistake once last season. Was he just not? Okay. So probably reinforcement, I guess. Does this even change anything? Are the Geos faster or anything? We could totally just do this, right? And probably just leave it there, I think. And maybe add in like an Ebon Hawk for good measure. In case of Falcon. They're slow as hell. Okay. I think Ebon in case of Falcon is always a safe bring. Okay, so functionally speaking, we're not supposed to aim at Spy. This is actually, so I've been giving Vulture Overcharge, but I think against Sunfac it ends up being a misplay because it forces the taunt. Like the extra damage is really nice, and in Ship Arena it's been working out super well for me. Like the extra initial damage just feels like it ramps up immediately, but I think that's causing more issues than not. Alright. If you just wanna... Oh wait, we don't even have to. Spy for the easy finish. Yeah, god, this matchup just feels so good now that we can actually just turn order the thing out correctly. Hyena first felt so awful. And not to say, like, that buff opener is greedy, and against some comps, I think it works. Like, there is one guy that runs a team that actually punishes it pretty well with, like, an IG 2000 opener. I believe is this guy, but his team also isn't. I mean, his ships are 7-star, but Grievous is 6-star. But like, you can kill IG-2000 immediately off of that rotation. I just think against Sunfac, unless like sometimes you just want to kill Sunfac pretty quickly. But I don't know, it's weird. Huh. All right, this was a super long stream. Nice. Not to deviate on tangent too hard, but Legends of Runeterra, the card game, just got a massive. I don't know why I'm booting it. I'm not gonna stream it now. I was just gonna show. It got a massive expansion that is actually like really impressive, really fresh. Oh, it's just down for me. Oops. I guess I'm not playing it after stream anyway. Yeah. Just a ton of new cards. I got to Masters in this game a couple of seasons ago. There's some people in my Discord who've been trying it and playing it as well. It's if you've played stuff like Hearthstone, it's kind of like that, but I would say more skill-based. It's like a blend between Hearthstone and Magic. I've never played Magic, but that's just what people say. That sounds right. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Good stream. Flarebit, I think, not for your sake, don't get it twisted. I'm not doing this for you, but I think I am going to shift my stream slot forward because I'm tired of missing raids. And also, yeah, I'm hearing a lot from EU people that like 2 a.m. streams. I can definitely agree. Would not be ideal. Yeah, let's call that a stream then. Have this fancy button. Yeah, I think I'm just going to switch to a more readable fonts. Probably sounds like the safe call. Alright. A little bit. I knew that this was going to be hard to do, but I think it's just going to take a lot of practice. This actually does just feel like a skill thing. Like, there's so much to actually have to, like... So, I guess... I'm really bad. I don't actually... what I'm drawing over, which is partially why it might look kind of janky. What I have to do is... Oh god, that's actually going to be really painful to look at. Our chat text. So I can't change it on YouTube, right? It's just for stream. If I'm doing a green screen, it has to be... Oh, first off, I kind of screwed. It's like when I draw on it, assuming it's up. Let's see what happens. Is it broken? Oh. Oh yeah, there we go. So like, it's like you're drawing on a tablet, but like not a screen tablet if you've ever had one. It's just like... And it's kind of nice because I can see where I'm aiming, but because of how big this setup is now and how much I have to like swivel my head and try to stay on the mic, it's actually kind of hard. I need to like completely rework my physical office now, which... Challenge accepted. But yeah, I think if I can get some practice in, get better at doing it more quickly, can start doing some pretty fun drawovers. The only real challenge here is... Hey, you might have seen it today. The actual... Like, the draw in just kind of floats, so like, if I draw here, it should, like, even if we scroll, it'll just stay there. So I basically just have to remember to undo it all immediately before moving, for it to make sense. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of cool stuff. I'm not even done yet, this is just like, I need to get stuff in to be ready for the stream. I feel like I felt like a good initial foundation. So yeah, let's just call it there. Alright, peace out.